Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Into the Podcast. I'm your host Sam, and I'm joined each and every week by the beautiful co-host Ryan. Hello, beautiful co-host Ryan.
Hello, beautiful Sam.
How are you, my beautiful friend?
I'm doing beautifully on this day. How are you doing?
Shit.
Standard.
Not really. Everything's beautiful, mate. I'm feeling very happy, very beautiful today. Although, as soon as I put the camera on to talk to you, I realised I'm not sure what's going on here, and it's getting very thin on top. So
it happens to the best of us, mate.
Well, I know, mate.
As you will know.
I'm not quite at your level yet, mate, but I think
give it time.
I'm going to have to give up the ghost at some point, aren't I? This little side part in here is not doing much for anyone.
Yeah, we've got all these issues now that we've included video on these podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to see how shit my hair is, please go over to YouTube. In fact, we'll put a link up, because if you type into the podcast into YouTube, it has no idea who we are.
I've never found us.
No, and the thing is, I've changed our link now as well, because before it was just like Into the Pod with a load of numbers. So I changed it to Into the Podcast. Still nothing, mate.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
But whilst we're on it, go over there. There will be links underneath the little YouTube, underneath the audio stuff, and all over our face spaces and Linktree and whatnot. So go over to YouTube and subscribe to us, and do that on other things such as Spotify.
That's the one.
Yep. And then
don't forget to give us a review on Spotify as well.
Oh yeah, do that.
5 stars is preferable.
Still rocking 5-star as well, mate. You know.
We are.
We've not gone lower than 5-star. I don't know how. I mean, there's some really good podcasts out there at 4.9. I mean, granted, they've got like 10 million people, and we've got our friends to do it, but still.
And we've had to pay most of them.
Yeah, but that's fine. We'll pay you as well. Well, Ryan will. He's got more money than me. But, you know, whilst you're on it, mate, Facebook, Twitters, Instagrams, all that sort of nonsense, give us a like on them and all, please. Because, Discord as well. We've got a bloody Discord as well.
We have. We've got a Discord community.
We have got a little Discord community. Been a bit quiet over the weekend because I've not been talking to anyone. Although I did put a little picture up, which I'm going to talk about later. I
know, I've only just seen that.
A new installation that I've got, but that's my tie-in for the main topic of the podcast, so I'll save that till later.
Okay, fair.
Obviously, we are now, this comes out tomorrow, so it'll be the 29th of October, which means tomorrow is Halloween. Or if you listen on Halloween, today's Halloween. Or if you're listening the day after Halloween, yesterday's Halloween. But it's around about Halloween time. So
it's around Halloween time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the spooky time of the year. It's my favourite time of the year, obviously. Being a big horror fan and liking the gore and the ghouls and the ghosties. So, I want to have a little bit of chat about Halloween, Ryan.
Yeah.
Just a little chitty chat, then we'll have something to eat, and then we'll get into the main balls of the show. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
That sounds good. So, obviously, you are now Daddy Ryan.
I am indeed.
As I am Daddy Sam. So, growing up, obviously, I did the trick-or-treating thing and the dressing up and the Halloween parties. And now my daughter is 7 years old. I get to now pass that to her and attend all the Halloween parties and take her trick-or-treating and stuff, which is amazing. Is that something that you used to do growing up? Is that something that you're going to torture River with at 3 weeks old?
I think so. Yeah. We definitely did the trick-or-treating thing. I think growing up, like, on like a housing estate, you know, like there was always lots of kids on the estate, and like people would. A lot of people got into the spirit, you know. We probably did it. I'm trying to think what age. God knows what age, really. But I probably did it a bit too long, to the point, you know, where people stop you and go, aren't you a bit too big to be getting free stuff from me? But
you're 28.
I just want free chocolate and sweets and stuff. So yeah, that was something we did. I don't remember Halloween being as big as it is now. I've been saying this to a few people recently, and I don't know if it's like the last sort of, I don't know, 5 to 10 years maybe. I feel like Halloween's just got massive over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a huge American thing, like a proper holiday for America, and they've always, you know, they're always great for going big and epic in every sense of the word. Whereas I always felt like we sort of half-arsed it just to get free shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was, wasn't it?
Like the British mentality, like, we can't really bother, we'll chuck a bin bag on and give me free stuff.
Literally that, and then 90% of the houses had a little sign in the window saying, fuck off, don't knock on our door.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, growing up we did it, and then I think like we always like had Halloween parties growing up as well, which was cool. Like my mum and dad would host Halloween parties quite a lot. I remember that as a kid, and everyone dressing up, which is nice. It's always nice for an excuse to dress up because what I found sort of like since I've left uni, because again everyone then will dress up at uni, but it's in a different context because you're young adults and you think you're adults, but you're still just a bunch of kids going out drinking, but you do that dressed up.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I think post-uni, I feel like Halloween's dipped for me a little bit. We've become the household that turns off all the lights, closes the curtains, and just pretends we're not in.
Horrible bastards.
I know, and I don't know what that is. It wasn't, literally... I don't know if it's just because we've just had a kid that's now changed, where we're a little bit like, should we do the trick-or-treating thing this year?
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we're, like you said, probably thinking of doing that in the future. And suddenly, I don't know, I guess having a kid, like, in every aspect of life changes your perspective on it.
Oh, God, and immediately as well, yeah.
And you suddenly go like, well, I want him to go out trick-or-treating, and I want it, I want people to make an effort then, and like the community and stuff, and give out free things. So I was like, so maybe I need to start putting that out there as well, like, in the universe.
It's effort. It's just the problem is it's a lot of effort, isn't it? Because you've got to sit down the night before. You've got to put all the thumbtacks in with the raisins and the razor blades in the apples and all that sort of stuff ready to give out. So it's just a pain in the arse, isn't it?
It is a lot of effort, and there's tendency to cut your own fingers, and it's like you need to stock up on plasters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this year we thought, we'll do that. So we were actually in Home Bargains, perfect place to get Halloween shit. Bought a couple of tubs of sweets, just a couple of quid per tub. And then we remembered that we're actually at Mum and Dad's because she wants to do a little Halloween get-together. So
snack of the week.
I know, but I really don't like sweets. Like, if they were chocolate, I'd be all over that. But I'm not a sweet guy.
Sweets for Sam. Remember we talk all the time about how Megan gives us friendship snacks? You never give me friendship snacks, ever.
It's because I'm like, have you not just listened? I'm not. Up until recently, I'm a very selfish man.
Oh, I know.
Like, I only think about myself and how it betters me.
I was going to say, I fed you every week for 2 years and not one friendship snack from you.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
I tell you what was good, thinking about it, going back to like the old school trick-or-treating. You'd knock around and then you'd always hear about some lady around the corner who was giving away pound coins.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go find out, it's that one. And they clearly gave one kid a pound coin because they forgot.
Yeah.
But then they become the focal point of the whole estate because everyone's like, fucking get in with them. But I remember, bloody growing up, obviously, you had your typical, like, dib-dab lollies and all that sort of stuff. But then you had the guys that gave you a little thing of 10p and pennies.
Yeah.
My dad, I think my mum and dad used to do a bit of that. I remember them, like, putting little jars of, like, pennies and, like, 10p and stuff together. But it was boss back in the day, wasn't it? Because it was just free shit for nothing.
I know, that's it. It's literally begging. It's
absolutely.
Just
but
an excuse to beg.
Oh, God, absolutely. But what I have found last year was it the first time I took my little? I can't remember. The first time we did it properly, anyway. So we initially did around my parents' estate, and she was dressed up as like a spider witch or something. I can't remember. She looked great. We went round, did got loads of stuff around here, and this is a council estate as well. And I'm telling you now, you get the best stuff around your council estates and not your high-end estates.
Oh yeah,
these are more a community. These get more involved. Yeah. And it was great. And there's a dude that lives bang across the road from us now. This guy is outstanding. Like 2-3 weeks ago it started. His whole front garden is a graveyard. He's got like hanging ghosts, like big mannequins that are now ghosts and blah, blah, blah. He opens up his garage and his partner will be in there as a witch doing potions for the kids. And a bit scary, but he has an open fire on his driveway and he brings the kids over one at a time and he roasts marshmallows with them. He's so good with the kids. And then instead of like a pot of sweets, he just has a dead body that you got to rummage your hand in and try to find the sweets.
So cool.
He goes all out for it. So we did all that and it was great. We went home. And my little one was like, "Oh, Daddy, you should get dressed up." And we had the Mandalorian and Grogu outfit.
Yeah.
And we lived in a bit of a more nicer estate, a bit more, upper class, as I am.
Oh, yeah.
So went around that estate. There was kids everywhere. And because we was dressed up as Mandalorian and Grogu, mate, we were getting double sweets every time. Every house we knocked on. Best costumes we've seen. Mate, we rinsed it. Annoying thing is she took all the sweets, the little shit.
That's not how that relationship should work.
No, it doesn't. I helped you because I look boss.
Yeah, that was always the agreed thing. I think when we did it as a group, what we do is we just pile everything in and split it evenly.
No, didn't get anything, mate. Well, I did because I waited until she fell asleep and robbed it. But still, that's not the point. She should have been like, come on, Daddy, have a crunchy. But no, she just took it all for herself and she's going, oh, didn't everyone love my outfit, Daddy? I'm like, no, they love my outfit, mate. Because it cost me 90 quid. That's why.
Exactly.
That was so overpriced. Adult costumes, unless you make them yourself. And bearing in mind, we're talking shit skin suits as well. They are so overpriced, man. Like I said, I'd get that ridiculous. And then this blow up like Mandalorian gun. Yeah, it's about 95, nearly £100 to go to one Comic Con and fucking whatever else we did with it. The trick.
Yeah, but it's all about the memories. You create some beautiful memories,
and we've got some good photos. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it this year. It's obviously in 2 days for us, but so I haven't got my little one this year. But she's already said, "Oh, can we go to her mum?" She said, "Can we go to Daddy's and we all do it together?" She just wants to go to the outside of the road. I know that, but it's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it so I can get involved and I can do the trick or treating with her because I do love it. Here's one question that I only really picked up from last year, and I didn't think about it as a kid. You went begging. You knocked on all doors.
Oh yeah.
And now as an adult, it's become a weird unwritten rule that I didn't know about, but I fell into of like if they haven't got at minimum one pumpkin outside the house, you don't knock.
Yeah, I think that's a standard rule that most people adhere to now.
Did you as a kid? Or is that like a new thing? Because I've only just sort of realised.
It's definitely like become an official unwritten rule, I would say, recently. I think as a kid, it was never that, but you kind of knew anyway that like if a house was dark and there was no lights on, there was no point. You'd still go try your luck a little bit, but you knew you weren't going to get anything.
Yeah.
Whereas now I think it's just sort of standard. Like, because we do that. Like I said, we've been miserable. And I have felt bad because you look out.
You're horrible.
I know. You see some of the kids and they're proper like cute little kids that have dressed up. And I'm just like, oh, sorry. Pulling on my heartstrings, these little adorable kids dressed up. But then equally, I'm like, you've broken the rule.
Yeah, you've broken the rule.
We got nothing out here. But then maybe it being a bit harsh because we've got a light outside the front door and it's like a censored light. So if people walk past, then that light's going to come on.
Yeah,
and then it's going to look like we're in, perhaps. So maybe we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, that's definitely like the rule.
Yeah.
If you haven't got Halloween stuff, then don't go a knocking.
Because this is the thing as well. You're gonna get to that stage, even if you was to decide, I don't want to do it still. You get to a point where you've got to take the kids to the pumpkin patch. That's like a new thing. Don't really get it, and I can get a pumpkin hell of a lot cheaper just going to Asda. But
I totally agree.
To do it because there's one not far from us, and they've got like a corn maze and all these little bits. So you kind of will go to pay through the nose for some pumpkins for the photo opportunities, for the memories, instead of just going to buy one from Asda. So you're going to have the pumpkins, mate. So you've got to do it now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know, because like we've done that in the last few years because we've done like got the pumpkins, we've done the pumpkin carving because I love Halloween. Like the whole point of this, I any excuse for something horror-esque in the house is just I'm all over that. So we've always done the pumpkin picking, and again, I'd say the last 3 years. We've gone to an actual like farm shop to do the pumpkin picking.
Yeah.
And I think when we first started going, so it's like a local farm, like you actually pick the pumpkins, from the patch that they'd grown themselves. So they're a little bit battered and bruised and stuff, but it felt real, do you know what I mean? Like genuine. You felt like you were supporting like a local farm shop.
Yeah.
But then over the last few years, that shop's gone massive. It's really ballooned up. It's really popular. It's really successful. And obviously, I don't know whether they can't just because they can't meet demand or because they want it to protect their land or whatever. All they do now, which I feel like most places do, they clearly buy a truckload of pumpkins from somewhere else, and then they, in a green, lovely field, they just plonk them down.
Yeah.
And you just walk up and pick these pristine pumpkins, and then pay, like you said, 4 times the price that you would at a supermarket for the privilege.
Yeah.
So I think last year was the first time we went, nah, sod it, we're not doing it anymore. I think we went to the farm shop, had a mooch around. I think we ended up buying, like a couple of like the tiny little cute ones.
Yeah, you've got to get
they were
a
still
tiny
cheap.
cute one, haven't you?
And then maybe got like a nice coffee from the actual farm shop, and then got our big pumpkins from Aldi or Tesco or something. Which is what we've done this year. We didn't go to the farm shop. We just went to Tesco, and they had all the big ones, £1.50. For the big ones.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, I'd have paid a tenner for that at the farm shop.
Oh god, 100% as well. What's your carving skills like?
Bang average.
Yeah, I'd probably say mine too. I like to go a little bit out there, but it's never anything overly impressive.
No, and I think I do this every time I start carving the pumpkin, and when you first cut into it, and you have to scoop all the shit out. I'm like, this is gross. This is just horrible.
I hate that bit. Pumpkins, is gross.
They just smell, and they're just a bit.
You can't get rid of the smell of pumpkin, can you? For ages.
No, and I'm like. So by the time I've scooped it all out and done all that, I'm kind of like, it's effort now to actually carve it and make it look good.
Do you actually like Halloween? Everything you've told us so far is you're a mardy bastard around this time of year.
I think that's just me, generally. I'm just a glass half empty kind of guy. I like it when it's done and I've got my pumpkin with the candles in it and it looks cool as. No, I do like the pumpkin carving. Like I say, I think we've done that every year.
Yeah.
For the last, pretty much since we've had this house, we've always done the pumpkin carving, which is nice. I never know what to carve. I always end up just trying to do my own thing, and it ends up looking a bit shit. Like I think I started off first year and I did the classic. I did Jack Skellington,
Which you got to do, yeah.
Which is right here. Look, I've made an effort today,
and really
I've got Jack Skellington lanterns behind my head.
Is this going to be your new podcasting room? Because you've got the Star Wars poster, you've got the Jack Skeletons, who's that guy, sorry?
It's me and Michael Bean.
Oh, it's you and Michael Bean, yeah. And who's the guy above it?
Don't pretend you've not seen him on the live stream. I brought him down before.
Mate, that's my bedroom you're in, so of course I've seen it.
I know, you haven't stayed here for a while, so it's been repurposed. It's now the cat's bedroom.
Well, the cat's getting kicked out. Which cat?
It's 2 of them, Milo and Luna, in here.
They can both get the fuck out.
Yeah. It's got all my nerdy shit in here, so it's perfect for podcasting, really. And then I'm out of the way as well. So because I've had to I relocated today as opposed to the last couple of weeks now.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Well, we're going to keep doing it this way because we got a nice little message earlier. I don't know if you saw before we left, but we got a nice little message from long-time listener Rich Twiner saying how he's enjoying watching it on YouTube and enjoying just the visuals. Even though we don't do anything over the top visual-wise, sometimes it's just nice to see this, isn't it?
Yeah. And I brought something this
Michael
week.
Bean.
Michael Bean. And wait, that's that way. Michael Bean and ripped Luke Skywalker.
Ripped Luke Skywalker, and I put my clothes away.
Nice.
I didn't. Nice. They're on the floor.
Just of course. I know. Yeah. We all know what it's like.
But the weird thing is, because I was talking to old Puntland Pirate about it the other day. I was like, I want to get back into the streaming stuff. I've got more time now more time ever than to stream. But I was like, I'm kind of just in a bedroom now, so I need to change the backdrop a little bit and just make it look a bit better. But then I still do this every week, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's record the podcast and like put some video out there. And I've just got that, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
In a bed, so. I don't know, I'm just going to have to get some of them neon lights and make a big cock out of it or something for the background. And
standard.
Just standard lol stuff.
Standard boy humour.
Absolutely.
So...
Right, we are 19 minutes in, mate, and I'm getting a bit peckish. Do you fancy moving over to doing a bit of snack of the week?
You know I do. It's very, very, very on theme as well.
It
snack
is,
for Halloween.
I'm excited to see what you've brought to the table because your original idea was shit.
Well, we said we were going to do. I said, we're going to try and keep the episodes a bit more on theme now, didn't we? We came up with a plan. We had a really good podcast day where we ended up planning loads of stuff, trying to be a bit more on it because last week we realised that was just shit, wasn't it? We came away from last week we
nearly
just
didn't go out.
Utter bollocks. I mean, we talk utter bollocks all the time, but we literally talked nothing last week.
Yeah.
And we're like, shit, we need to be on it a bit more. Go back to some other themes. So if anyone's got any themes or any ideas of what they'd like to talk about, please let us know. Let us know in the Discord.
Let us know in the Discord. Old Puntland Pirate banged one in the other day. I don't know if you saw it.
I don't use the Discord.
Well,
but
you
still,
should. Ryan, use the fucking Discord.
I do look in the Discord.
What was Puntland Pirates' idea for an episode?
He said that we should do, it was that thing. It was Tomb Raider.
Drew, sing us in, baby.
Here come Sam and Ryan, listen to them both speak. They've come 2 hours all with their pop culture critique. But are you even a nerd if you don't overread? So come on everybody, it's the snack of the week.
That was Drew Flanagan of Drew Flanagan Music.
My favourite Drew Flanagan.
He is a good Drew Flanagan, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Tell the people where they can hear Drew Flanagan of Drew Flanagan Music, please.
Well, as he is a famous musician and musical artist, you can hear him alongside other famous musical artists on all the famous streaming sites like Spotify.
Any more?
And the Apple Music.
Any more?
The Amazon Music.
Amazon, yeah. That's when I use that one.
Music of the Amazon, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never use that, and I don't know why. Because I'm pretty sure I get it free with my Prime membership.
With ads, though. It's like free Spotify.
Ah, no.
Whereas I pay for my Prime.
It back. Yeah, we pay for Spotify.
Yeah.
You could probably listen to him on other places.
Well, I don't know. Let's everyone's going to rush to YouTube to watch this. So do you reckon they could maybe find it on there after they've listened to the episode?
They absolutely can, because there's probably a link to his site here.
Just down here.
Just click here.
I'm going to start getting the big flash things. Click here.
And you can see his lovely, beautiful face.
One of these.
Yeah, and make sure to follow him on all the socials.
There you go. Easy as that. You see, you did well, mate. That was a lot better than Stoked and Woke last week. Well done.
Like, I literally read Stoked and Woke from their website. How could it get any better than that?
I'm bringing Matt Heaton back.
The brand, I literally quoted it.
What snack you got for us?
My original idea was fantastic, and I was going to bring a haunted donut because we were doing horror themed, Halloween themed, but
just so you're aware, a haunted donut is just a donut that Ryan calls haunted. There was nothing special going to be about the donut.
No, I was going to go ooh, as I held it up to the camera.
Ooh, scary! That is haunted.
It's just because I wanted a donut. I don't have donuts
Fucking
very often.
love donuts, mate. This time of year as well, you can get like toffee apple flavoured donuts and shit.
Oh, yeah, I know. Claire got me a fantastic donut. A donut, is it?
I love a donuts, yeah.
So she got me one
like
on...
that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, and it was a Biscoff one.
Oh, they're banging, yeah.
Oh, it was so good. I had that with a lovely coffee. But yeah, anyway, I haven't got that, alas. But I have got Halloween themed today. Have you?
I have gone Halloween themed, yeah.
Well, mine is... It's a chocolate lolly, and it's got Beetlejuice on it.
That is absolutely banging. I love that.
Look at that. It's 2 coins, one with Beetlejuice on, pulling his Beetlejuice face, and then the other one says it's showtime.
I absolutely love that. Where did you get that from?
Home Bargains.
Amazing. Well, I'll tell you what then. Before you eat it, I will show mine, and we can just eat them together.
All right, deal.
Yeah, should we do that? Because you went for the chocolate lolly with Beetlejuice on it. I just went for a fuck-off marshmallow lolly that's in the shape of a skull. Like, this thing is soft, mate. That lot.
That was great.
If this isn't a reason to go to YouTube, I don't know what is.
Look, it's like my head's Beetlejuice's head.
I can't do that. My head's too massive. There it is.
No, there you go.
Hello and welcome to Into the Podcast. Right, open it so we can eat these fuckers.
All right, okay, fine. Do you reckon because I've got 2 lollies that they're going to be the same flavour?
They've got to be the same flavour. Have you seen Beetlejuice yet?
I've not seen Beetlejuice. I only watched Beetlejuice 1 for the first time this weekend.
No way.
Like, this is one of those films that I was like 99% sure I'd watched, like 100% sure I've watched. But when I put it on, because I've got it on DVD, and I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, and I put it on over the weekend, and when I was watching it, I was like, I have got no recollection of this film. And you know what I'm like, my memories like for films and TV. I was like, I reckon what I must have done is put it on and then like fallen asleep.
Yeah,
or
just not paid attention or
not paid attention at all, because I was like, I don't remember any of it. Like the basic plot of like, obviously it's about the couple that's died and they need to get rid of the humans. And I couldn't have even told you that they were the dead characters, like Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. So
really,
I put it down as a new film. I had this debate earlier with long-time listener and good friend Rachel Callender.
Okay, yeah.
Who is a massive Beetlejuice fan.
Mm-hmm.
And she agreed that I could count it as a new film. So that's what I'm going to do.
Well, maybe I don't allow you to count it.
You don't count. Rach supersedes you.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Chocolate lolly. That marshmallow looks ridiculous. It looked quite tough to say it was a marshmallow.
That is just a marshmallow, my friend. There is nothing special about that.
It looks cool, though.
I'll take its eye off.
This chocolate lolly is great. It's a classic, like Christmas chocolate.
Shit chocolate,
type.
but still like a chocolate penny.
Yeah, it's a chocolate penny on a stick. But I'm all about that.
It's tough.
It's like the holiday season.
Yeah. This just tastes like marshmallow, which is fine, I guess.
Well, it is a marshmallow.
I'm not going to sit and eat the whole thing, so it's fucking massive.
See, I want the...
Well, you can eat the rest, mate, if you want. If that's what you want to do. I have that picture on the back of my hoodie over there. The exact same one. One more bite.
Right, I'm gonna eat the rest of. I'm gonna eat actual Beetlejuice now.
Yeah. Where am I going to put that in the tier?
Oh yeah, we need to tier it.
This is where I need to video edit, because I don't edit this before I put it out. I just put it straight online. It's just so we can pop it like whoop and get it into the top corner or something.
Yeah, good idea.
I don't want to learn to do that. That's effort, innit?
Sounds like a manager Megan job.
No. Sounds like a Ryan job.
I'll get right on that.
I bet you will. Right after we do that episode that Puntland Pirate asked us to do on Tomb Raider.
He's obsessed with Tomb Raider,
He
honestly.
fucking doesn't stop talking about it,
He does not show up to that Tomb Raider. And I can see why. We all know the appeal. But still,
oh, absolutely. Triangle
rein
boobies.
it in, Puntland. Come on.
I'm
eating this lolly really weirdly as well. I just realised I'm on camera. I'm like holding it by the top.
Okay, so for Marshmallow Face, I'm going to pop this into tier 4, which is if I have to. It's just a marshmallow, isn't it? Just covered in sugar. And I'm pretty sure I lost a tooth while I was trying to bite into it. So, not hate that, because who hates marshmallows, let's be honest.
Yeah. I can't take or leave marshmallows.
I mean, they're good for roasting. You know, if you get s'mores or something like jammy wagon wheel, mate. If marshmallows weren't about, you wouldn't get the jammy wagon wheel.
Yeah, they're better paired with something else.
Oh, definitely.
Like just a marshmallow on its own.
Yeah, but
Great.
They're good for kids. If I got my little one, that should be all over. If I did, I got her a witch one. They're all over it.
There you go.
Just loads of sugar, cavities galore.
I'm scared of marshmallows after it was in the news earlier this year, that woman that died during the marshmallow eating competition.
Just don't do a marshmallow eating competition. I've never heard of that,
Yeah.
but just don't compete in it, I guess.
Don't shove 30 marshmallows in your mouth, I suppose, is the moral of the story, but still.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. You're not a squirrel, you stupid woman. God bless your soul.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Where are you putting it on the list?
What are our tier system again? Talk me through it.
So it's a big triangle like that. This is why you need to watch the YouTube. This is us proving.
I can't even put my fingers together.
This is the conspiracy theory of the Illuminati right here, mate.
Right.
But it's not. What this is, my friend, top tier here.
Yeah.
That's
Then
called.
what's the next?
That's called top tier. Second tier, which is here. That's called love that. That's for stuff that we love. Then you've got third tier, which is probably around about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is. I'd have that again. You know,
yeah.
Someone's got it in there. That's all. You can have one of them. They're nice. Fourth tier. Where's that on the finger, Ryan?
It's probably about here.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'd say that's about right. So that's where old Marshmallow Face is going. This is going into tier 4 right there on the finger. That is if I have to. Just there's nothing else. Everyone's having a marshmallow. I better, because I don't want to seem like I'm not into Halloween like Ryan. You know what I mean? Everyone's having one. Go on in if I have to. And then the bottom tier, Ryan, where would that be on the finger?
That here?
Incorrect, mate. Sphincter, where that is. That is on the sphincter.
Sorry.
Okay, that is dog shit.
Sorry, I get confused.
The worst of the worst. Apple milk. Milk from apples. That's where that shit belongs, yeah?
Apple milk is still the worst of all time.
What other stuff have we had in that tier?
I don't know. This is why we always said we were going to keep a record of it.
Yeah, I know. And I was going to do it the other day, you know. I didn't have much on. I was like, should I just sit down and listen to them all and write down the tier list? And I just thought, I wonder what Ryan's doing right now. I bet he's just sat there picking his nose whilst I'm thinking, let me listen to all 90 episodes of this so I can do something for the podcast. Ryan's just there.
You know me too well. I'm always picking my nose. If it's not picking my nose, I'm picking my bum.
Exactly. Looking for bottom tier. I tell you what, this is a job for Puntland Pirate, because he is now staff on the Discord.
Yeah.
If you want to stay staff, get listening to all 90 episodes, my friend. Get them all written down. Do it, or that's it. I'll hit you. I don't really know what the threat is, but I will. I'll do something.
I don't think it could probably discredit the first 10. When did we start actually, when did we introduce the tier system?
Don't know, but that's what we need to find out. Puntland Pirate.
I don't know.
Christopher Buckthorpe.
We need someone to write the history of our podcast.
Exactly. He can't spell, but that's okay. Not everyone can. It's okay to not spell.
Well, maybe that's a job for our Into the Podcast resident history teacher, Ed Williamson.
Ed Williamson, write us a book, The History of the Tier System that we created. Right, where are you putting it on the fucking list, mate?
Oh, yeah. It's a standard chocolate coin on a lolly.
It's just that, isn't it?
It's it made better because of the picture of Beetlejuice on the front, but really it's just a standard chocolate coin. So it's going middle tier. I'd have that again. Because I would have that again. I'll probably have something very similar at Christmas. And if someone offered me that now, I'd probably have it again.
Do you think it'll have Beetlejuice on at Christmas? I bet it doesn't.
Is Beetlejuice a Christmas film?
Don't think so.
It is.
Terrifier 3 is, though.
Yeah, so maybe it'll have Art the Clown on.
Now, not saying I'm obsessed or anything, but you know
Obviously
me
not.
and how I like stuff and spending money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that.
Well, Wraith, they're an energy drink company, a lot like Sneak for gamers. That was like the first big one to hit the screen. So it's just powdered stuff, bit of water, give it a shake, glug, glug. Supposed to give you the high, not the crash. So you get that nice energy drink feeling. Well, they've just brought out a Terrifier bundle, mate, with a Terrifier energy drink, like tub of, a Miles County t-shirt, and a shaker. You know your boy got it. Day one of release.
I don't ask, but I'm going to, because the listeners are going to want to know. How much did that set you back?
Well, all I'm saying is, because I'm sponsored by them, because my streaming channel, Paparoast88, go give it a follow, is sponsored by them, I do get 20% off.
That's good. That is good.
So we'll just leave it there.
So
I saved 20%.
With your 20% discount, then how much came out of your bank?
Some money. Less than 100.
That's promising. It's a good start.
Because I got 20% off. There you go. We'll keep it at that. I paid less than a ton for a drink and a t-shirt. It's fine.
Fuck's sake.
But I've got a Stoked and Woke t-shirt. Look at this, everyone. You could be wearing this right now if you went to Stoked and Woke's website in the bio.
Here.
Yeah. And use promo code Into the Pod, mate. You get yourself a lovely t-shirt like this, and then we'll get paid for that.
How much discount do you get with our promo code?
15%.
That's a good chunk.
That is a good chunk.
And it's a good product. Very good product.
It is a good product. Look at me wearing it. Ryan, what have you got of Stoked and Woked?
I've got that t-shirt.
Oh, this t-shirt. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. We share it.
We have joint custody.
Every other weekend.
Yeah. I'll wear it next episode.
Right. So that was that. That was snacks. Not the best, but you know what? It was Halloween themed. We're all part of the Halloween party now, baby. You see, this is the annoying thing about recording it like this and not doing it face to face is I could have put so many fucking like sound effects in of like ghouly ghosts and stuff, but
yeah,
that's a lot of effort in it. So I'm not going to. So
if you want the podcast to fail, then
see, I'll just do it every now and then.
Do it right. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Right, do an impression of a bat, quick.
A bat.
A bat. Be a bat, quick.
Wait, bats hang upside down. Hang on.
That was a really good bat, mate.
How was that?
The best thing about watching this, if you run over to YouTube now, you can actually see the blood slowly going down from his head from where he tried to be upside down.
Honestly, bats fucking... their blood must be in their head all day long.
Oh, God, big time. So, years ago, the first house I ever lived in was part of an animal sanctuary.
Right.
So, there's an animal sanctuary and then a house and then us. And the people who owned the animal sanctuary owned the 3 houses and all the back gardens were the sanctuary, which was pretty cool. So, it just meant every now and then when no one answered, they always dropped pets off at our house. And it was always like hedgehogs and shit. And we're like, we don't really want them in the house, go away. They brought a baby bat one time, didn't they, mate?
Oh.
They're like, we need to get rid of it. We need to go. Was like, we'll take the baby bat. It was, luckily, normally we wouldn't, but Aaron, who I lived with, his brother and his partner at the time, they did bred or looked after, I can't remember which, but they had baby bats. They'd like reared baby bats and stuff, which was really cool. So it was like,
random. We'll
take this one in, mate. Oh, God, they're so adorable.
Yeah.
Big bats are fucking terrifying, but these ones, little cuties, mate. Little cuties. Right.
Just like my impression there.
Just like your impression there. So, over the weekend, my friend.
Yeah.
I went and got myself a little tattoo, didn't I?
Did you?
I did.
Did you indeed?
I did. So I got 2 tattoos. One of them was a matching tattoo with 2 other people. I'm going to tell you about that one off air because it's ridiculous.
Right, okay.
But this one. So basically, good friend of ours, we've mentioned him in the past, Utopia Project. So Chunk from the Utopia Project is a tattoo artist. He owns his own tattoo studio called The Iron and Pin. Check them out. They are brilliant. They've just moved, so they just had, first studio. It was just a little bit small, and obviously he had a printing shop in there because he does clothing and blah, blah, blah. Just not enough space. So he's now got this big studio, shop front, loads of room, a bit in the back for the printing studio, an extra room for a media room. Looks really good. So I went there for the day. He said we'd help out a little bit, having cakes and bits and bobs. So he's doing a flash day. So just turn up. Each one's probably only doing 10 to 15 different tattoos, and you can pick one of them. I was like, I'll get one. I don't want one, but I'll get one. If I'm getting a tattoo, I want to be able to pick what I'm getting, not just off a sheet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not going to be able to really... But I got myself a little ghost face look.
That's cool.
So, I got it because So it's just the outline, and I've not had one from this artist before. A lass called Courtney. So I said, you've never done me. Can I get this one from you? So she did it for me. And I was like, it doesn't really fit with the rest of everything that's going on, but I do love that. So I got talking to her, and we're going to book in for a few hours, and we're just going to get loads of that sized heads from different horror characters going round.
Nice.
And just sort of coming up. So I'm not going to take up the whole arm, but if I just do the rest of this arm here, just getting loads of little horror heads, loads of different icons. So I've obviously got cool. Ghostface now, so I'm going to go for 4 and see how many she can fit in. So if we do 4, I'm going to go for Art the Clown. I'm going to go for Babadook, mate.
Really? Well, you do love Babadook. It's one of your favourites, isn't it?
Love the film. Babadook. Then I'm going to get a Chucky.
Obviously.
And I'm going to get a Pinhead.
Interesting.
They're my 4. Now, if there's room, we keep going, mate. And we'll get the rest of them. We'll get the Voorhees, we'll get all them lot. But for now, I think they're the 4 I want on here. They're like my favourites. Or the most aesthetically creepy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, that I think would look better as a tattoo.
Instantly recognisable as well.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe not so much the Babadook. I don't think people look at that and go, that's the old Babadook.
No, definitely out of those 4, the Babadook, the least recognisable, because it's almost a bit of an indie horror film in some ways.
It is, but this morning, so my little one's obsessed with Simpsons, so we got up early for work this morning, and she, for school, and she said, I couldn't watch Simpsons while we're waiting, and she puts this year's Treehouse of Horror on, and they did a Babadook spoof.
Okay.
And obviously the Treehouse of Horror is it's the big Simpsons event, isn't it, really? The Halloween one. I thought that was quite nice. It was good to. They also do a Death Note one, and it's all animated as anime, which is really cool.
Ah,
see
cool.
The Simpsons
That's
cool.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see the Babadook on there because
Yeah, I suppose the difference is it's franchise, isn't it? That's
of course,
key difference.
absolutely.
Art the Clown's got 3 films. Ghostface has got 7, 8 films. How many Screams is there? As well as parodies in like Scary Movie.
Absolutely.
Then you've got Chucky has got about 8 films, TV shows,
series,
all sorts. Whereas Babadook is literally limited to the Babadook, and that's
the
it.
one film, yeah.
But then that's awesome as well. That's a film that's left that much of an impression on you, and you would put that up there with those others. Which
absolutely,
I'm a big fan of.
You've seen it now, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've seen it now, and obviously I'm not going to go through it again because I do love this film. But if you haven't, if you've not, if you're new to the podcast, I have been preaching the Babadook word for years. It's one of my favourite horrors of all time. It's the season to be watching scary films. It's on like Channel 4 or 5's app at the minute. It's quite easy to get hold of. Get it watched. It is insane.
Pretty sure it's on Netflix at the moment as well because we flicked past it the other day.
Yeah, if you've not taken my word yet, I promise you'll love it. It's so good.
It is on Netflix. Definitely worth a watch. We watched it on the back of your recommendation. I think it was last year because I've not seen it before, so it was one on my list, and me and Claire watched it, and it was great. Really good.
So, on the theme of Sam's new tattoo, which you'll be able to see if you go over to YouTube and subscribe right now, it's fitting to talk about horror characters. And we've been discussing a little bit of we've obviously done the top 5 quite a while now and bits and bobs, and we're kind of thinking of rearing away from that. And we did an episode a few weeks back called The Goat, where we spoke about the greatest of all times. And we think we might start going down that road a bit more of just who do we love? We talk about who we love. We're not putting it in order or anything like that. We just talk about who we love and why we love them. But then we try and just decide on who is the greatest, factually. Who would you put the greatest? I think that builds a better conversation, not only between us, but with you guys, the listeners. So it'd be great to sort of have you guys come to us like, how the hell can you put them as the best of all time when it's clearly this?
Yeah.
So how does that sound, Ryan? Should we talk about the goat of horror characters? Now, I don't know what you've done. I've kept mine solely to killers, bad guys. I don't know if you've gone for your Laurie Strouds or anyone like that. Or
I did
heroines?
start off. I've got a lot of notes here that I was literally just jotting down whilst we were sorting stuff out.
Nice. It's like a set list.
It's like a set list, but this is all I got for survivors. So I did start off with villains and then victims and survivors in another one, because a lot of times I think they're overlooked because automatically I think with horror you go straight to the villain.
Oh, of course you do, yeah.
You always do that, but a lot of these characters are just as fundamental to the franchise as well, and they're very much part of horror. And I guess my thinking of that is behind... we play Dead by Daylight, a game where, it's about a serial killer, and it's all famous killers and famous victims and survivors, so you can always play as them. So that's all of mine feature on that, for the survivors. But I literally wrote down 3, and I was like, as much as they are incredible, I don't think the goat of horror can be a victim/survivor.
Absolutely not.
Personally,
I mean, you can argue Aliens, Alien franchise. Obviously, the Xenomorph is probably on my list. So
I've got Ellen Ripley as a survivor, and I've got the Xenomorph as a potential for the greatest villain of all time. Ripley, we spoke about loads. We spoke about a lot in it. She was one of my badass women of film. Aliens is one of my favourite films of all time. She's an absolute legend in that. She goes from... I love that transition she goes from pure survivor, victim in the first one, which is proper horror, to bit more action horror in the second one. But she's not instantly a badass. She's terrified. She's got PTSD. She has nightmares. She's traumatized by the events of the first one, but she still goes along with it anyway.
Yeah.
I think a story peaks at the end of 2, Aliens. Alien 3 was a very flawed film, and then Alien 4 is just batshit crazy. But Ellen Ripley, absolute legend. And then if we're sticking with Aliens franchise, the Xenomorph.
Absolutely.
What an incredible character, where it's probably... I'm just having a look at some of the lists I've written down. I think the only one potentially on my list that's not a like humanoid, has no way of communicating, there's no like speaking, there's no like humanity to them. It's like the Xenomorph is a pure alien race that's just terrifying, and it's literally like there's no reasoning with it. It's just got... It's clever. It's, well, as you know, the famous line, it's a perfect organism. It's so much better than us in every way. How can you stop it? Even when you fight it off and hurt it, it has its death throw of like acid for blood and stuff. So,
yeah. That is called the final fuck you.
Yeah, it really is. And as a character, it's evolved from a very unknown quantity in Alien, where it's just this one thing that starts as like... It's got an insane transition, hasn't it? The egg to the face hugger, the implant, to then bursting out of people's chests, and then growing into this absolute monstrous warrior, which then hunts people, cocoons them, feeds them for the queen. And every aspect of that, I'm trying to think, every time it evolves, it's terrifying in a different way.
Oh god, absolutely.
The eggs are scary, the face hugger is fucking awful, the idea of it bursting out your chest, something being inside, one of the most iconic scenes of all horror.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In the first one, where they're all sat round and bursts out John Hurt's chest, it's peak horror. That has just been replicated and copied to death, and it spawned a whole franchise. There's 5 Alien films now, 6 Alien films, pure Alien films. Trying to think, there's Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Quadrilogy. Then you had Alien vs Predator.
Alien vs Predator
Requiem.
Yep.
Then
the best of the Alien films.
Yeah. Then you had, I suppose, Prometheus is in that world. The Xenomorph kind of features at the end a little bit. Alien Covenant, and then even this year, Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
They're bringing out an Alien TV show, which is coming out later this year. Endless video games. All off of the back of this one creature.
Are you fighting for the Xenomorph to be the GOAT?
I wasn't going to.
Because we can't give this much time to everyone.
No, I know, but I've gone into it. I'm now thinking... Because I've written a list, and I've no idea what is going to be the GOAT. I've come into this knowing we're going to discuss it, but I don't know what my GOAT is. So I'm going to put a line under Xenomorph and go, that's. I think that's a potential. I think I could... Let's move on to some others, but... I think that could be a contender. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking I'm going to avoid, just so we don't get these conversations, I'm going to avoid your Frankensteins, your Draculas, universal monsters, I guess, to a certain degree. I'm going to avoid them. I'm looking more maybe your 80s classics sort of moving forward. That's what I've focalized.
Okay. I did. Yeah, I wrote down the universal classics, and I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I've wrote down Jaws.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I see that. And it depends on how we're looking at it, because do you just do like Dracula as a character? Well, there's so many different incarnations of Dracula. Do you go you Christopher Lee? Do you go Bela Lugosi? Or
you go Nick Cage?
Nick Cage, obviously. Do you know what I mean? That is a character. I think maybe if you were doing it as a character, not one version of, I think you could argue that Dracula is the GOAT of horror.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think you probably could. I've just avoided that just because I want it to look more of like 80s upwards, late 70s, early 80s upwards.
That's fair. I think, yeah, it depends how we're taking this, because I do think if you're just going to argue on pure character, I think the Universal one's probably the way to go, because they've stood the test of time as well.
Oh, 100%.
Like when did Dracula come out? Like 1800s it was written, and it's still, being made in different versions today. It's an insane, incredible character. But yeah, we'll avoid them, and we'll go more...
In fact, thinking of the GOAT episode, we spoke about Dracula, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. Have we done this already? Have we done the GOAT of horror?
I think it was it Classic Icons?
Might have been.
Yeah. So we'll leave that. We already know that is. We're looking at sort of like late 70s, early 80s, and coming forward from there. So your big leather faces, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, because I'm kind of the same. I've got a list as long as my arm here.
I know.
If you can see. And I've got like a little bit at the side of like real standout characters that you see once. Jack Torrance.
I've got Jack Torrance, yeah. Unbelievable. But
Norman Bates. The Grabber. Yeah. I really love the Grabber from
Blackphone, Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
But these are like great actors, aren't they, that are portraying a human with no supernatural abilities that are just scary people.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter, another one.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
That's like, terrifying in a different way because they are humans and it's what humans are capable of doing. Like, I think they're scary and in some ways a lot scarier than your classics, like your Jasons, your Mike Myers, all them that we'll probably come on to. But yeah, they're like one-off performances. Well, Hannibal's been replicated a few more times, but like Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
Unbelievable performance. Jack Nicholson, I think, one of the greatest actors of all time. So, and I love that film. I love The Shining. That might be my favourite horror film of all time.
It is banging, isn't it? It is so good. So I think you're probably going to be looking at like... we're going to be looking here at Voorhees, Leatherface, Pennywise, Krueger, Pinhead to a certain extent. I'm going to be fighting a little bit for Pinhead, I think. More modern day, maybe Jigsaw, Billy.
Yeah. Art the Clown, I think you could even throw in there these days. Art the Clown's in there,
Michael Myers. There's one that I didn't think about and actually fucking... So I started thinking about what scared me as a kid. And actually, I've never really watched a Halloween film and been scared, or I've never seen a Friday the 13th and been scared, even like watching them as a younger person. The Ring, so Samara Morgan, the little girl from
terrifying.
The Ring, terrified me.
She's probably the scariest horror character I've personally thought of. That freaked me out so much. Seeing The Ring, the American version of The Ring, was one of the first horror films I ever watched, and I've never watched it since.
Really?
Like, yeah, I think was it last year I watched the Japanese version of The Ring. Terrifying character. Absolutely terrifying.
So whereas I'm not going to push for a win here, you've got to mention it. The other one for me that really scared me as a child, Candyman. Tony Todd's Candyman. They remade it a couple of years ago. You know what? Did fine in my eyes. It was quite gruesome. It was still quite creepy, still quite eerie. Him as a character is just gross and like... I hate bees. I'm one of these that panics when there's a bee about, and I do the whole flappy flaps.
Bees!
Yeah,
not the bees.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, the idea of this gross dude with a hook for a hand covered in bees and they're coming out of his eyes and nose and mouth, like, that terrified me as a child, man.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
and not only that, the idea of... so what I love in a horror is the idea of standing in a mirror and saying Candyman 3 times.
Yeah.
I remember the whole Bloody Mary thing. Like, I remember being at school and kids daring each other to do it.
Oh yeah.
And I
like
still
in like the toilets in front of the mirror.
Oh like... my god! Like I still feel that gut wrenching pain to this day of how I felt when someone was doing it, and I just run away and be like, I don't want to be part of this. And then all day I'd be like, fuck! I was in there with him. If he comes, is he going to get me? Like, because I was there in the first place. I don't know what to do. Like, it used to fucking terrify me, man. So whereas I don't think Candyman deserves a top place, in my heart, he's up there because he just scared me. How many Candyman films are there? 4, maybe 5?
Maybe 4. I've seen most of the first one. I think it's one. I think my sister had it on DVD, so I think I dipped in and out if she was watching it, but I never watched it. As a kid, horror films terrified me, or the idea of them. So, as a teenager, I didn't really watch them. We rewatched Sleepy Hollow over the weekend.
Brad Pitt.
Off the back.
Not Brad
Sleepy
Pitt.
Hollow. No, it's Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, sorry.
Yeah, Johnny Depp, the Tim Burton one, which is like my favourite Tim Burton film. It's one of my favourite films of all time. I love it. I love how gothic it is. I love the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
I love the time period. It's peak Burton. Yeah. That gothic horror look. But that was, which isn't an out and out horror because it's horror themed, but it's not like a scary horror film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember that was like the first sort of horror-esque film I watched on my own as a kid. I must have been like maybe 13, 14, something like that. It was on telly. I remember watching it. I think I was upstairs. My mum and dad had like a little portable TV that was like on the chest of drawers. And it was on Channel 4, and I sat and watched it, and I was like proper chuffed with myself for sitting through, because I didn't know. It was like pre-internet days.
Oh, yeah.
So I couldn't just like Google like, oh, what's this film? I just like, oh, Sleepy Hollow, a horror film. So I was expecting it to be scary. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, horror's, that's not that bad. I can deal with that. Like, which is not horror at all. But
yeah. And then there was me as a child that used to talk about loving horror. My dad was like, all right, cool. What's The Exorcist? Go on. And I remember as a kid watching it and being like, and Dad was like in the kitchen making lunch, whatever, for school, whatever, the next day. Yeah. And I kind of kept going into him, and he's like, what do you want? I'm like, nothing, I just need a drink. And he's like, if you're scared, just admit it. Like, have some bollocks and admit you're not a horror guy. I'm like, I'm a horror guy. I'm a horror guy. I love horror. Horror. Go back in there, then I'm finished watching The Exorcist.
Another film I've never seen all the way through. How have you
never watched The Exorcist?
Yeah, it's one of them. Again, I've seen like all the classic scenes. And I think we studied it like when I did film studies. So maybe that put me off because it's a bit like, oh, I've seen the iconic bits.
Yeah.
So actually, and again, one of them I never came across it, and it's never on streaming sites or anything like that. So I do need to watch it because it's an absolute classic. Probably the GOAT horror film of all time.
I would be fighting for that, to be fair.
Yeah,
I would be fighting for that.
So would you say the character from the GOAT, the girl, the possessed girl, could be
Reagan.
The GOAT? Reagan.
Reagan was on my list, but as a honourable mention, because yes and no, but at the same time, I don't know how you want to look at it, because Reagan technically isn't the bad guy. Reagan is demonized. Like, she's then saved at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, Exorcist Believer, was it that came out last year? Exorcist,
something like that.
Fuck that in the face, mate. That film was so shit, and
I
they brought
to
Reagan back
to it.
just for no reason, and he just ruined The Exorcist for me. So fuck them for ruining that film for me. Just, if you're gonna do something new and make it shit, leave out. We say this about Star Wars all the time. Leave out canon. Just leave out the things we love. That is not going to make your fucking pile of shit any better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take that. All you bloody filmmakers that are watching this on our YouTube with 3 fucking subscribers.
Yeah.
Listen to your boy here. So, a couple of mentions then. Let's have a little look at... I would fight for Art the Clown because I love him. I just don't think he's stood the hands of time yet.
He's not taken the test of time yet, I don't think. Maybe if we're having this discussion. Yeah, and I think they're going to bring out another one. And like I said in last week's episode, was it last week's? Maybe the week before. I think he's a modern classic. I would put him in the same 100%. Bracket as these people that we're talking about. You know, your Freddys, your Jasons, your Mike Myers. I think he is a modern version of those characters, which is awesome to see because you don't really get that anymore. Like with new horror characters.
Yeah.
The closest one to that modern times would be Jigsaw, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, but are we going on what's good horror films or great characters, or just because they've churned out 10 films, does that make them great?
Well, this is the thing now, and if we're going to be looking at the character itself, again, it's really hard when to say. So there is a character who is outstanding, but is it the character that's outstanding or is it the performance that's outstanding? So I've got one on the list here. Tell me the film that this character's from. Kevin Wendell Crumb.
Is that the name of the character?
That's the name of the character. Arguably, in my head, one of the greatest horror characters, but probably because of the performance more than the character.
Kevin Wendell Crumb.
Mm-hmm.
Have I definitely seen this film?
I would have thought so. It's a fucking banging film.
Yeah, but you know me, I've not watched The Exorcist. I
That
don't even
is
like
true.
horror.
That is true.
Don't know. I don't know.
It's James McAvoy's character from Split and Glass.
Ah.
So Glass wasn't so much a horror, whereas Split was a horror mystery. One of the greatest characters, terrifying, to be able to switch from person to person to person. But how James McAvoy did not get an Oscar for that performance is beyond me, because it's horror. That's why.
It's because it's horror. We know that. We know horror and science fiction and stuff has always been overlooked. That's why, again, going back to, Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver was nominated for an Oscar for Aliens. That's how good of a performance she gave. Especially in the 80s. That was unheard of. I just want to do quick honourable mentions then for my other two survivors that I wrote down. One was Laurie Strode. Stroud, however you say it. From Halloween. What's her name? The actress. My mind's gone blank.
Sorry, what was you saying? I was crossing something off my list.
Who plays Laurie?
Oh, fucking hell. My mind's gone blank now. Everyone's going to be shouting at us now.
Oh no, come on, I'm not good for this.
Yes.
She just won an Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes, correct.
It's... She got a double-barreled surname.
This is really pissing me off.
Pissing me off as well.
And why? Yes, it is double-barreled. There it is. Begins with a J.
It is a J. It's like... Jamie Lee Curtis, fuck's sake.
Mate, I didn't get that. In my head, I was like, fuck.
But yeah, again, another iconic one. But then brought a character back recently for Halloween Ends or whatever, and that was garbage. It was so shit. It was such a shit film. And I don't know if
you're not scared anymore and you're a badass. Great. Love to see it.
Yeah, but she was like an old loser, and you're just like...
May as well have a tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, exactly. And, it kind of takes away from... does it take away from the originals? Maybe in some ways. I don't know if it dilutes them a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
Because they have so many, and what was perhaps once a great character ends up being, like, just a bit of a running joke. My other survivor that I put, which was maybe the best one of the lot, Ash Williams.
Obvious. You can't have this conversation without Ash Williams. I looked at a top 100 horror character list today from Empire.
Yeah.
And Ash Williams was number one.
There you go. So you could argue that Ash is the GOAT of horror. For those that don't know, Ash Williams is from the Evil Dead franchise, starting in Evil Dead 1 and then Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. And then they brought him back for the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series that got 3 series, I think, before it got cancelled. He is an iconic character. Like, he's funny, he's over the top, he's a bit hammy in his acting, isn't he?
Oh, 100%,
sort of like,
yeah.
It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, he gets his hand chopped off and he replaces it with a chainsaw, and he just battles, like, demons, and it's ridiculous. Like, the third film, he goes back in time, and it's like it's like a medieval set, and he's just there with, like, a fucking sawn-off shotgun, like his boomstick, and it becomes like this fucking hero, like the one that was prophesized. It's like fucking ridiculous. It's over the top, and he's so iconic. He's in loads of games. He's had a bit of a revival recently. We've both got him as a skin on COD.
I've got the Evil Dead game. It's not worth the play.
No, it's a shame that. Does that play sort of like how does it play? Is it a bit like Dead by Daylight, or is it a bit more?
A bit, yeah. It's solely multiplayer type. Just go around killing zombies, map based type stuff. It didn't enjoy it at all. I gave it a go on stream, and it just wasn't for me. I was hoping for a good storyline, something that you could
that's
play
what you
single
want,
player, and I think if they brought it out again, it'd have to be done like that.
Yeah, but again, an iconic character played by Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, correct?
Yeah. So what a legend. Maybe the greatest horror character of all time. Who knows? We could come back to him. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I know some of our listeners will be shouting at us saying Ash Williams is the greatest horror character of all time.
Absolutely. So just having a look at the time because we're a bit over. So, you know what? I'm already scratching off Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. And I'll tell you for why, mate.
Go on.
They're a little bit boring.
They're a bit one-dimensional, aren't they?
Very one-dimensional. They walk and...
They walk and they stab.
And they stab, and then they walk, and then they don't die. And then they walk again. And then occasionally, one of them goes to space and kills someone by putting them in a big sheet and throwing them against a tree. Jason X, it happened, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it.
So for me,
I think Jason is just a rip-off of Mike Myers anyway.
Mm.
You know, it's the mask, and it's the mask that makes them scary. Masks are scary. People are terrified by masks.
Yeah.
I think it makes those characters cool, and you never want to see their faces. And it's just such a simple thing, but yeah, I agree.
So I'm getting rid of that. Leatherface is definitely a maybe.
I think he's a maybe. I think he's got that. He literally wears a fucking face of skin.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a chainsaw. That's terrifying. Like, even now, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre still holds up.
It is brilliant for a black and white film.
Yeah, and it's...
When was that?
It's just...
70s, late 60s,
70.
early 70s?
It might even be late 60s, you know. It might be like 68 or something. Don't know.
It will be 68 because you guessed it. Whatever number you guess is right, normally.
It was just pure... Go on, check. I'm purely guess. I don't know if it's that early.
Was the first one just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Maybe it's 7. It's probably got to be 70s. 78 was it?
74.
Yeah, there you go. So like mid to early 70s. And again, a character who's been replicated a lot. He's just terrifying. He's just a big guy with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like plays on that sort of like outback hillbilly America. But he's just a normal guy, and I think that gives him an edge and makes him scarier. I think that makes him scarier than all these other ones that you can't kill. Because like you said, it becomes a bit boring. It's like, oh, I've just stabbed Mike Myers. I've beaten him, but
I haven't.
I've not defeated him. He's just coming back. Whereas I feel like with Leatherface, he's just a normal guy.
He's a normal guy that you'll stab, and he'll just carry on. Not because he's supernatural, because he's just fucked.
He's just fucked, yeah. And it's like, that's scary because it sort of makes you think as well, like, that could fucking happen.
Oh, absolutely,
If some guy came at me with a fucking chainsaw, what would... And just them running and him fucking coming after them. Mm-hmm. Oh, that is
running down that
awful.
Lane. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, possibly GOAT for a horror weapon would be the chainsaw. The sound, the fear of that coming at you, like, as soon as that touches it, terrifying. So, a great character who looks great, the film stand up and has one of the best, like, weapons.
Yeah.
Is up there. And everything about him as well, his whole family are weird and just crazy. And obviously it's all kind of like loosely based around Ed Gein, or Gein, however you say it. Did you know that they're doing that Monsters thing that's on Netflix at the minute about the two killer brothers? They're doing one about Ed Gein being played by matey boy from Sons of Anarchy, Jax Teller.
Charlie Hunnam,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Can't really see. Cool. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Ed Gein before, mate, but he doesn't look like Charlie Hunnam. He doesn't look like Leatherface either. He's just this really weird, like, scrawny bloke who used to dig up dead people.
I really struggle with Charlie Hunnam just generally because his accent is awful.
Yeah.
In everything he's in, he's trying to get rid of the Geordie, and so he's kind of like Geordie American. It's awful.
Apart from so I listened to his thing recently in Rebel Moon. He's obviously got an Irish accent, hasn't he?
I've still not seen it.
So he's got this Irish accent in that, and it's bad. And
Right.
and at the end he's like, it really annoyed me. He's like, because the Irish accent, it's like, I get it. I'm not known for accents, but my Irish accent is spot on. But if that's spot on, no one could understand me, and I got told I had to water it down. He's like, so that's why it sounds so shit. He's like, I swear to God, my Irish accent is great. It's just I wasn't allowed to use it to full potential, which thing's great. So Leatherface I'm going to stick a little circle around Leatherface. Freddy Krueger is 100% in there.
Yeah, he's another iconic one. I feel like he's dropped off recently because he's not had a film for a long, long time. So I feel like there's a whole generation of people that wouldn't know him as much.
Now, there's a TV series just started or just about to start.
Okay.
I think it's just called Freddy.
Right.
About him. I think the last film was maybe 10 years ago, which was awful. Was it the guy that played Rorschach? Was it him? I played him. I can't quite remember.
Not originally, but...
No. I mean, in the remake that they did.
Ah, right. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of one of these. I think for me, I love a film that doesn't need a backstory. And I think he was always supposed to play a child sex offender. I think that was his whole deal. But in the remake, they kind of focused on it a little bit too much, and how the community got together to burn him alive because he was abusing kids and stuff. And I'm just like, we don't need that. Let's see him go into dreams and fuck people up.
Yeah, and that's it. I think a lot of horror films, they run this risk of just getting bogged down in backstory. And like I said, we don't need that. We don't care.
Rob Zombie did it with Halloween, didn't he?
Yeah, and you just missed the point.
Yeah.
Just let us see him scaring people and fucking people up.
Yeah, but I'm not letting that go against Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is terrifying. A man that can come into your dreams, taking the shape of anything else. Mate, you understand this. You are sleep deprived. You have a baby.
I love sleep.
Exactly.
Not being able to sleep is a terrifying concept.
Exactly. I would much rather, bearing in mind, I'm a fat guy that smokes, vapes, drinks, eats burgers. The idea of moving at a faster pace than a slow walk terrifies me. I would much rather have to run 10 marathons back to back than not sleep.
Yeah.
I feel I'd do better at the marathons than I would not sleeping.
Yeah,
and I don't sleep well at the best of time, but then few hours I do get is needed, man.
They're essential, aren't they?
Just
I know. The idea of not being able to
realised
sleep.
going in.
Oh, God. That is terrifying.
So, Freddy Krueger, and again, he looks scary. Robert Englund, is it Englund?
It's Robert Englund, yeah.
Just him as a character, he takes his own style with him. He makes him kind of funny and, like, kind of hip in a way.
Yeah.
Calls everyone bitch, which I love.
I know, yeah.
It's just like he plays the character so well, but he's just terrifying because again, it's not just this dude walking with a knife.
I know, it's something else. Yeah.
He is physically tormenting you before he fucks you up.
Yeah, I agree.
And he got to kill Johnny Depp in his first ever role.
He did. Poor Johnny Depp. He did so well. He lasted right to the end, but like he fell asleep.
Well, you don't do that.
Who can blame him? Because I would have fallen asleep. We get tired.
We do, mate. I'm gonna get rid of Chucky. As much as I love Chucky, and he's going on my arm, you can't have a doll in your list.
Yeah, I know.
And he is iconic.
He is iconic. He really, really is iconic. And people go fucking mad for him. When I went to a Horror Comic Con last year, met Brad Dourif, the amount of people with like Chucky dolls and Chucky memorabilia, they were queuing like around the fucking arena just to meet Brad Dourif. They like go mental for him. So he is great. Perhaps not my personal favourite, but
played very well. I love the concept of it, but just kick that fucking doll.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can't take out a doll, then I'm fucked.
I know, that annoys me a little bit, because it's sort of like, I reckon I could take a doll.
Yeah, I reckon I could take a doll.
He might keep coming back, and he might stab me a lot and hurt me, but you like to think on a 1v1 with a 2-foot doll.
Oh, yeah. It gets your ankles, but, you stomp on him, wouldn't you? And
exactly.
You'd lock him in a box.
Yeah. Am I taking down Leatherface? Absolutely fucking not.
Absolutely not. So, love Chucky, but he's got to go.
Yeah.
Pennywise, how are we feeling about getting a clown in there?
I do love Pennywise, but again, I wouldn't put him up there with the others. personally. I know we're running out of time, so we're going to have to quickly flick through some of these.
Terrifying again as a character because, he takes the form of your darkest fear, which I think is a great idea for a character of whatever you are scared of the most, this motherfucker's coming as. And he's been portrayed... And again, he's been portrayed by 2 people, and both of them did him brilliantly.
Yeah, exactly. And people fucking hate clowns. Clowns are terrifying.
They really are.
So...
I'm gonna have to... I'm throwing Pinhead in the ring, mate.
Yeah, see... I don't know. I feel like Pinhead's a bit more of a niche one, I know he's iconic. He's iconic. He is iconic, and like the idea that the Xenobites, aren't they?
Xenobites, yeah.
They're like sort of like demons, are they, from like hell?
They
and they're
demons,
So like they are, and they look horrific. He looks awful.
Designed perfectly, all the Xenobites. He looks amazing. He's like the god of the Xenobites, whatever. But just the torture, once you open that gate, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from them. If you haven't seen the film, the remake, the newer one that brought out was fucking brilliant. I loved it. And there's always some crazy person that's obsessed with the box that that wants to bring them to this world and stuff. Like, there's at one point where they've got the dude's intestines wrapped around this machine that is just keeping him alive for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and just churning his organs in and out of his body, and like that is the shit he does. Like, that is terrifying.
Oh, it's fucking horrific. Yeah. It's literally like what you would picture like as hell. Like,
that is what it is.
Like you look at like fucking medieval pictures of hell, and it's just fucking demons and shit like that, and like fucking people getting ripped to pieces and all these awful things. That is what that is. Yeah, I do get it. I feel like Pinhead would be less... I think people will recognise him, but wouldn't necessarily know his name or what film he's from, compared to, like, Freddy Krueger or Jason or...
Yeah.
In the horror world, absolutely. Wider than that, I don't know if he would be as big.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really... I'm obviously, I know he's probably bigger than... But I think if we're looking outside of that realm, I think people would probably struggle with Leatherface,
Yeah, you're true.
I
you're
know
right.
It's a
right.
horror character, but I couldn't tell you where from or what from.
Yeah.
Or what his deal is. He has a chainsaw, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard. This is hard because there's so many different ways you could make someone the GOAT. Is it based on success of franchises? Is it just based on how scary they are, or is it standing the test of time? Is it the fact that they're in good films?
Yeah.
Because you can have a great villain in a shit film.
Yeah, I guess the standing the test of time. That's what we did last time with when we was looking at vampires, zombies.
Yeah.
And
we did, and I think that I still would stand by the idea that Dracula's probably the greatest of all time because he stood the test of time. It's been, like I said earlier, done in so many different ways. So this is hard. I don't know if we're going to come up with get a solution. Maybe what we do is we have like a 3 or 4 and we put it out on the socials.
Do you want to?
And get the listeners to decide.
Okay.
And then we can revisit it next week.
I'm going to take 2. You take 2.
All right, go on then. You give me your first one.
And if they match, then we just keep it as that. Then it'll drop down to 3. So I'm going Leatherface and Pinhead for my 2.
Okay. I will go. I'll keep it interesting, and based on our discussions, I'll keep it with the Xenomorph and Freddy Krueger.
Okay, Xenomorph, and I'll get these wrote down. We'll get them on the... That's not his problem, Xenomorph and Freddy. We get these out then to everyone. Let us hear what you think. You tell us what the GOAT is of sort of modern horror, and we'll go from there. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
We'll let the people pick. It's not all about what we think, mate, is it?
No, it's not. And I think we'll struggle to come up with an answer. We could be here for hours discussing this. This is the sort of discussion we would have over a few beers, over a whole evening.
Over a whole night. Yeah, we're already 20 minutes over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we'll leave it there then. So we've got Leatherface, Pinhead, the Xenomorph Alien, and Freddy Krueger. We'll pop this out on the socials. Obviously, start writing underneath. We're going to get it. and next week we'll get together and we'll give the answer of what everyone said.
Sounds good.
Brilliant. Ryan, that's the end of the episode, mate. Is there anything you'd like to add to our beautiful listeners?
I would, and I'm going to end the episode on this because it's a very special occasion, because it is our 2-year anniversary.
Fuck, it is our 2-year anniversary, isn't it? I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, mate.
Happy anniversary. 2 years since we released the first episode of Into the Podcast.
Yeah, so episode came out on Halloween 2022.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So here we are, 2 years later, bigger and better than ever.
Better than ever. We've gone from recording in my little house to recording in my mummy's spare room over Zoom.
Exactly. And we've been everywhere in between. We've gone to the Oscars.
We have.
You know, we've had endless guests on from all sorts of walks of life. And ultimately, we've chatted a lot of bollocks.
That's all we've done, is chat a lot of bollocks and eat a lot of snacks.
Eat a lot of snacks. And we've got a lot of people to watch a lot of films, which has always been good.
Yes, we have.
And even now, 2 years later, we've still got people discussing it with us.
Yeah, ultimately that's what it's about, isn't it? We talk about something and you guys go, shit, I've not seen that. Or,
yeah,
I don't agree with you, or I do agree with you. And this is why we do it. This is why we say, get chatting with us on the socials. Get chatting with us in the Discord. Like, this isn't us trying to push or trying to get anywhere. We're just two dudes that are going to put out a podcast to a few people for the rest of our lives. Like, we genuinely want to have these conversations with you, so please do. So yeah, on that, just a massive thank you to everyone that listens. Like, we probably would still be doing it if we was doing it to one person, just your mum.
Yeah.
Because it's always been a reason for you and me to get together. But actually, just recently, this has been going further and wider than it has done for a long time. So everyone that is listening, thank you so very much. Massive thank you to manager Megan, who obviously keeps us in check, does a lot of the social media for us, and we'll be answering all them conversations you try to have with us on online when I say we'll talk back to you. But yeah, we've had a lot of great people, the guests that have come on, Megan stepping up and helping us and keeping us in check, and yeah, just thank you everyone, and we'll still be here 5 years down the line. Every year we're going into another year and we'll go, what do we talk about? I don't know.
Not sure.
And this time next year, when we hit the 3-year mark, we'll still be saying, why has no one listened back to all the episodes of the Snack of the Week and wrote a list of them?
Exactly.
Yeah, well remembered, mate. I forgot about it. We spoke about it the other day, didn't we? We
did.
We had a quick look when it was, and we like figured out what our average daily listens was and stuff like that. Like, we had quite good fun with it, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good fun.
Brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll leave it there. Ryan, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.